Hi sunshine, welcome back to my channel, Alex in the Sunlight. I'm Alex and I'm so happy to see you. The purpose of today's video is a little bit different than normal. I've got two types of readings here. The first one is a collective reading, past, present, and future. Because I know that right now is a really tense time and a lot of people are experiencing anxiety, myself included. And I feel like we're receiving a lot of downloads about what's happening, and I feel like a lot of us are just like intuitively knowing what to do. But then at the same time, the ego or just like, parts of our brain is just kind of like, I'm not sure what to do. And then for those of us who have like really like complex situations or have lost out on money, it can be just like kind of a tumultuous time where people are uncertain. So I kind of wanted to do a collective reading just to see if I could offer up not necessarily like complete certainty, but just like some solace in this kind of, strange and transformative time. The second reading is a pick a card. So I've got 5 groups here. Group 1, malachite. Group 2, lapis lazuli. Group 3, calcite. Group 4, citrine. And group 5, labradorite. If you're not interested in the collective reading, that's totally fine. You can choose from, these different piles here. All I ask is that you close your eyes, you take a deep breath, and you ask your spirit guides or your higher self to aid you in choosing. You don't need to choose based on color or anything like that. Go with your gut, basically. With that being said, before I get started, if you are interested in supporting me or this channel in any way, I would truly appreciate it. I know that times are hard on a lot of people right now, and myself included. So if you like this channel, if you like the type of videos I post, please consider supporting me in the numerous ways that I have linked all in the description below. My favorite way being purchasing my coloring book that is available on Amazon. It's all hand drawn. Everything is done by me, and it was really made with a lot of love. I really feel like now is like the perfect time to do things like that, arts and crafts, and just taking time out for play. So if you can and you'd like to support me, that is one way, and there are other ways in the description box down below. Also liking and subscribing and all that good stuff. So I'll get into the collective reading first. As I said, the first pile is the past, our journey from the past to getting here, the themes and lessons that we were learning in the past. Could be recent past, could be, years ago. It's just kind of like, to me, just kind of getting clarity on where we came from to get here in the present moment, and having some guidance and some insight into the energies in the present moment and the future, what we can look forward to, what we can expect to see coming. So I'll go ahead and pull past first. We've got the Hierophant reversed, 5 of Swords reversed, and 7 of Swords upright. Okay, so this actually makes a lot of sense. The Hierophant being in reversed is kind of like calling to mind certain people getting into power, that being harmful to a lot of us, and feeling really disillusioned, feeling really disheartened. The 7 of Swords upright, that feeling of betrayal. The 5 of Swords in reverse is kind of like calling to mind the conflict that came with this. Like in my head, I'm picturing all of the arguments and all of the fights, all of the falling out that ended up happening, and that kind of in smaller ways tends to happen in just like interpersonal relationships when you have differing values and differing morals, and when someone, their beliefs directly like harm you, or you just living your life makes other people angry for some reason. And that's how we feel like, okay, this just happens for some reason. Like, I don't understand why there's so much prejudice in the world. I don't understand why there's so much lies and there's so many people who lie, and there's so much deceit in the world, there's so much conflict in the world. I feel like this is all just calling to mind us as a collective being faced with our biggest fears. Our fears around being misunderstood, our fears around being unable to accept that which is different from us, not because we were born that way, but because we were taught to be that way. It's like, it's, to me, it's kind of like that, which came first, the chicken or the egg? We all start out as these very impressionable children. Our guardians and the adults in our lives, they project onto us their own fears, and they project onto us their belief systems and what they believe to be right and wrong. And oftentimes it really doesn't, or maybe I shouldn't say oftentimes, but sometimes it doesn't align with what our hearts and our spirits know to be true. So we end up, growing up and kind of rejecting aspects of ourselves in favor of fitting in with what we were taught is the right way to be. Because even those of us who have really rebellious spirits, we are all, kind of hardwired to seek out belonging and seek out community. And sometimes that can look like self-betrayal. So this Seven of Swords, the deception could also be within ourselves, going against what we know to be true or for the highest good of everyone. Like, I'm also feeling like being faced with a lot of mirrors. I know I'm all over the place, but because this is bringing up a lot to me, like the recent past, all the way like through years and years and years, there's been these like cycles of self-deception, of projection, of fear mongering, and people who really are incapable somehow finding themselves in positions of power. And there's always like people who are, completely against it, and then there's people who are for it. All of it is a mirror, all of it is a reflection, all of it is showing us some deep truths about our collective psyche as a whole, and the areas in our, the blind spots that we have, our shadows that we tend to ignore or repress or suppress, the bits that we wish no one could see have all kind of been unveiled. And it hasn't been easy because there's been a lot of talk of like kind of, upending the status quo, but then the bar moves, it shifts, and then we discover new, more creative and thorough ways to end the status quo, right? And that's putting it lightly, because there's a lot in society that really doesn't do any of us any good. Even if you are in a position yourself to where you feel like you are in power, you have this privilege, or you have a superiority complex, even that superiority complex is to your detriment, right? None of us can really thrive in the way that we've been just kind of surviving. It's just getting by, and we realized getting by was not enough, kind of. So that's probably not news to a lot of us, right? We've been watching what's happening. We've been transforming just even in ourselves. I'm sure like a lot of you can like think back to even just a year ago and think like I'm not the same. I have a completely different worldview. My eyes have been opened, most likely, and a lot of us has probably gone through some dark moments, but through that darkness is always the light. If you see like all of these images, these three images, there is light peeking through in each one. So even though there are shadows, right behind is the light. Can't have one without the other. And I think that's another lesson about the mirrors, that we are all reflections of each other. There really is no concrete, good, bad, black and white. It's really about integration. It's really about coming together. So I feel like a lot of things were kind of upended. There was a lot of upheaval trying to get us to see that. And we're still on our way. I don't feel like this has completed itself. So we'll see what's going on in the present. Okay, Four of Pentacles reversed. Three of Cups upright. That's so interesting. Knight of Wands upright. Three of Pentacles reverse right underneath the Three of Cups upright. That's so interesting. Okay, so this also makes perfect sense. With the Four of Pentacles in reverse, this is definitely speaking to the fact that so many of us are losing jobs, right? A lot of people are getting laid off, and a lot without pay. If you're one of the lucky ones and you are getting paid, awesome, that's great. But there's a lot of people who have there's just a lot of uncertainty surrounding their job. If there's like artists and freelancers and musicians and all sorts of people who relied on certain sources of income that have just kind of like now disappeared in a way, and there's lots of industries that are really scared about going under. And as far as that goes, it's just like I feel like it's very universal. A lot of us are out of a job, basically out of a way to make money during this time. So that's causing a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. A lot of people are probably going to almost get in a state of, a lack mindset. Understandably, I'm just saying, like, I feel like there's a lot going on in the collective psyche right now, and that's one aspect of it. But then on the flip side, right next to it is the Three of Cups, which is so true. We've seen people, even though we're all meant to kind of stay away from each other, it's almost like even through distance we've gotten a little bit closer. I can't like go on social media without seeing people really come together in some kind of way, even if it has to be virtually, which most of it is. Most of it is through the internet, and I feel like we're really using the internet in a way that is like really positive. There's still a lot going on. There's still like misinformation being spread and things like that, of course. But I feel like on the whole, what I am seeing is a lot of positivity, a lot of people, cheering each other on and checking in with each other, making sure that they're okay, and like, reaching out to each other. And it's like, wow, like who would have thought that that is what would come out of this, right? People really, letting each other know how much they love each other. And it's really beautiful to see. And it's also, there's a lot of collaboration happening. And with this Knight of Wands, there's a lot of creativity happening. People are trying to figure this out. People are trying to like, get creative and get weird and like figure out what they can do with the strange circumstances that they find themselves in. And it's really amazing to see. I feel like a lot of us are getting a little bit more innovative, and we're thinking a little bit more critically, and trying to figure out ways to not let ourselves get completely down, because there is this really scary aspect of uncertainty and like what's going to happen after this. And I'm sure there are a lot of people hurting. So it's interesting to see this dichotomy, because I feel like it definitely, calls back to mind what we were just going through in the past with seeing these mirrors and seeing, you know, um, kind of the cracks in the system, and now we're kind of being presented with our shadow and our light simultaneously. So there are people who are really sick, you know, there are people who we've lost already. That's really heavy stuff. There's lots of people who don't take it seriously. There's lots of people who are still like going out when they really shouldn't. And we can't really judge. We just have to do what we can individually ourselves. But that is an aspect of this. There's a lot of disrespect. There's this Three of Pentacles in reverse here, and it's a lot of disrespect. There are a lot of people who are buying up supplies that are needed in certain communities, for certain people. Like there's just a lot of, I keep hearing greed, so I'm just going to go ahead and say that there's a lot of greed. There's a lot of like fear, panic buying and things like that. And then it's like, well, what about your neighbor who may need some things? If you're stocking up and you're just acting like you're the only person who needs these things, like what about them? You know what I mean? There's a lot of that going on, but I don't feel like it's from a malicious place. Not deep down. It's just really from a place of fear, which is like what I was talking about over here. Lots of things that we were being kind of called to pay attention to based on our fears. We were being faced with our fears. And now we have over here in the present moment this dichotomy of like looking at our shadow and our light. The shadow aspect is like all of this loss and all of this kind of being unprepared, and the powers that be being unprepared. And some of us are realizing, do I really need X, Y, and Z? Like, I could have saved that money that I bought on the latest and greatest, and then I would have like a little bit extra for right now when things are so up in the air, right? And I think it's really interesting that the two cards that I feel like represent our shadow, they're both reversed. They're both images of pine cones closed, right? So the seeds aren't being spread. It's like that energy of like, almost like miserly, like I gotta hold on to what's mine because I'm not sure when I'm gonna get it again. And like I said, it's understandable. It's just that's not how we're going to get the seeds to spread and sprout again. That's not the energy that we need to have. It's this Three of Cups and this Knight of Wands. And if you look at this imagery, both have plants that are kind of like opening up to the sky, to the light. So that's kind of like the energy that is definitely there that we need to focus more on. So, I would say definitely limit how much news coverage and things that you're watching and pay more attention to the lighter stuff. You can definitely stay informed. You do not have to pretend that you are in a happy place right now if you're not. That's not what I'm saying. It's just more so like find ways to laugh every day. You know what I mean? Find ways to, let the light in even just a little bit. I don't think that it's healthy to pretend to be positive when you don't feel that way. So that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying like it's almost just kind of like giving yourself a reprieve or giving yourself water when you're thirsty. Like just make sure that you take care of yourself mentally. But both the light and dark aspects are definitely at play right now. There's like a really powerful duality happening. And as far as the future goes, okay, we've got Knight of Cups. Yeah, Knight of Cups reversed. Six of Pentacles upright. And Two of Wands upright. Okay, so this is really nice. And it's so funny because the imagery, it goes so well together. Okay, so to me, this is an indication that in the future there is progress. It's not perfect, but we're getting there. Like this Knight of Cups in reverse is kind of calling to mind like the fact that like we can't escape that this is a tense time, and like a lot of us who are social distancing, staying inside, staying indoors all day every day, like can really take a toll on the mind for a lot of people. So I feel like we might get a little bit restless. We might be feeling like in the future coming out of this a little bit kind of loopy. Like we're just like and we kind of may have resorted to daydreaming to try and like pass the time. I feel like we're going to be finding different coping mechanisms. Like that's kind of what this is calling to mind, is like figuring out how you can cope. But we're going to have to come out of that and into like a more grounded way of being. Like this is letting me know that there will be like a bit of a journey collectively of coming out of like a dreamlike state from being in an enclosed space and returning to that grounded feeling of being free in the world, going out in nature. And if you see like the imagery, it's what I was saying earlier, like the mirror image, like what goes up must come down. We're going to have to find our balance again. And that's okay. That's okay. But we're going to need to take our time. Like I said, progress is going to be made, but we need to take our time with it. We're going to get sulky and bratty if we think that coming out of this, we're just going to take off and run. There's going to be a bit of like an adjustment period, as with everything. Do not fool yourself into thinking that every phase of your life you just hop from one to the next. It's not how it works. It is a gradual change. And next thing you know, you wake up and everything is different and you feel different, and it's like you didn't even notice that it was happening. But trust me, it took time to get there. Allow that time. We're going to need to allow that time if we don't want to end up being like moody and like just all listening to the Smiths and just like, being like when the sun comes out. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. Just take your time is all I'm saying. Um, we've got the Six of Pentacles upright. So I feel like we're going to see in the future, like if you look at this imagery, the ice is melting off of this tree. That's how it's going to feel, is like things are going to begin to thaw, and we're going to see a lot more generosity. We're going to see a lot of giving and receiving on an individual level, but specifically like collectively, universally. I think that we're just going to be changed after this. And it's going to, even though there's going to be some people, I can like hear it, like there's some people who are very cynical and are like, nobody's going to be given nothing, like everybody's going to be taken for themselves. And like there is an aspect of that right now. Like I said, there's this present duality, sure, but I feel like we're all going to be changed after this. People are going to start to realize the value in each other and that we need each other. And so if one of us is hurt, all of us is hurt. If one of us doesn't have, then we're all out of luck. You know what I mean? We have to share, we have to give and learn how to receive. I know it's counterintuitive, but I feel like a lot of us have issues surrounding giving because we have issues receiving. But when we can start to trust each other enough to receive from each other, then we will give more freely. And like I said, I know that sounds a little counterintuitive, but it's true. Like if just think about it, think about the last time you received like a gift or something from someone that was out of the blue. There was no reason for it. They were just being generous to you. Was your first thought like, what is this about? Is this a trick? Is this a scam? Right? We've kind of all been socialized to think of each other as like the boogeyman, and it's a very us versus them type of rhetoric, but there is no us versus them. It's just us. Like, it's just us. We're all going to go back up into space when we leave our bodies here in the earthly realm, and we're going to remember everything, remember every being you've ever been on this planet, and have like this infinite wisdom. And none of, the petty stuff, the egotistical stuff that was here on earth is going to matter. All that's going to matter is the lessons that you learned that you will take into the next life, right? So think about that the next time you judge someone, because I get it. Like, there are people in this world that we really do feel like, okay, they're bad people and things like that. And we've been socialized from a very young age to look at things as good and bad. And I'm not saying that I'm above this. I'm not saying that I'm above this. This is all of us, right? We all kind of look at the world with this lens of I've got to be careful and things like that. And it's not to say that you shouldn't be. It's just that we're going to need to start coming out of that and realizing that like everybody has something to offer, and everybody is worth giving to, whether that's money or a second chance, right? Or if that's just a prayer or good vibes. And I think we're also going to start realizing how important boundaries are, because, if you thought to yourself when I said second chance, oh, that means taking back a toxic ex, or, trusting someone who has proven to you over and over again that they are truly not trustworthy. That's not what I meant. It's not about just like letting people use you as a doormat. That's not it. And when you have boundaries, you realize that, right? A second chance can literally just be like telling someone, even though we can't be in each other's lives because we just don't bring out the best in each other, I wish you well. I pray for you. I hope that you go on your journey and like you get everything that you ever wanted. And I hope the same for myself. Peace, right? We're gonna come out of this knowing what our boundaries and our limitations are, and honoring that. And then from there we are able to be more freely giving of each other and freely receiving. And the last card we've got is the Two of Wands. So I also feel like this is letting us know in the future we're going to plan better. We're going to take our time more. We're going to slow down. We're going to realize that instant gratification isn't it. It's not the way. It doesn't help you. It doesn't soothe you when times get scary, and it doesn't cushion your fall. It is just instant, and it's fleeting. goes as quickly as it came, that's not sustainable. We're going to start thinking in a more sustainable way, and it's going to take time. So do not expect that when I say future, that like coming out of this, everything's going to be perfect and we're all going to figure it out. Like we're going to figure it out, but it's going to take more time to do so. But we're starting. This is the beginning of it. We needed a lot of the old ways to crumble. We're going to come up with a new plan, a newer, better way of being. It's going to take time to come to fruition, but we're going to do it. Okay? So that's all I have for the collective reading. I'm going to move on into the individual pick-a-cards now. So yeah, I'll see you soon, group number one. Hi, group number one, those of you who chose Malachite. Okay, so I get it. You guys are in your feelings, and that's understandable. This time has probably really caused you to question like certain things about yourself, and I feel like some of you are lacking confidence and feeling alone. Like I feel like some of you probably live alone, and so I feel like I see this image of somebody who's like living alone, but they're scrolling through social media and seeing like all of these people who get to like quarantine with like their family or their loved ones or whatever. Or maybe some of you just got through a breakup, or you're in the home with someone that you don't feel so connected to right now. But overall, I feel like there is this like feeling of maybe loneliness, but there's like a journey here to go on. You've got this first card from the Angel Oracle deck letting you know that you aren't alone, right? So you're here and your angels are standing right behind you. They're always with you. They're not letting you go, is what I heard. Even if you're getting into like a really dark mindset, like you're not alone. They're right there with you. And I feel like a lot of you just kind of like feel like you don't have a shoulder to cry on. They're your shoulder to cry on at this time. And I know it can feel like even more lonely if you are with somebody and you still feel lonely, but that is okay. You've got the true love card here, and it says, your wholeness and safety lie within, not from a partner. But this sovereignty actually leads to the deepest intimacy for you to stop using others. Let me stand on my own feet, dear Lord, and know true love. Right. So, like, this time might be teaching you how to stand on your own feet, how to be your own lover, how to be your own best friend, how to really take care of yourself in the way that you wish other people would. And I hope you don't feel resentful over that, because I'm sure it can be kind of annoying if what you really want is a partner to be told to be your own partner. But sometimes that's the way to do it, right? To figure out what it is that you actually want in someone and not project onto them your ideal, and seeing people for who they are, because you can see yourself for who you are, right? You have to move through you first. Your ultimate and longest lasting relationship is with yourself. So if you are alone, use this time alone to really get to know yourself again. Kind of like I see in this card these flowers and these plants, but there's like little water droplets. So if you're crying, kind of do like a meditation, almost like visualizing those tears as water, like watering your future self, your future garden, you as like a flower, you know what I mean? Or you as like a tree. I really like thinking of myself as a tree. So think of yourself as a plant that needs love and care and looking after, and look after yourself, right? Give yourself what you wish other people would give you. And the last card you have is passion. So I feel like it's perfect because it's like all of these reds, and in the middle is the blue. Like it kind of reminds me of these two cards. I feel like this little journey coming together will show you what you are passionate about, show you that you have talent, and that you have a creative drive, and that this desire to love and be loved is actually coming from a great place of passion within you, and you can use that to your benefit and to the benefit of others in the future. So really tap into that during this time. But the card says, the frequency of passion reminds us that beneath every intense emotion lies the hidden gem of insight, balance, and calm. It assists us in finding the balance within this intensity, moving us from chaos to the calm of its core, where we can let its long-lasting wisdom fill us up. Get to know yourself. You're going to discover things that you didn't know before, and you're really going to feel grateful for it after. Okay? That's all I've got for you guys, group number 1. I really hope the reading resonated with you. Let me know in the comments if it did. Like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Consider becoming a patron. Consider buying my coloring book on Amazon. Any way to support me in this channel, I truly appreciate. All right? Thank you so much for sharing your time and energy with me. I really appreciate it. The magic in me honors the magic in you. Be well. Hi, group number 2, those of you who chose lapis lazuli. Okay, so a lot of you are probably going to be like in your head and in your spiritual body more than in your actual, your physical body, which is okay. I feel like overall this is like a lot of positive energy. There's just kind of like a stubbornness, I feel, and that's okay too. You're a human being. This is a rough time for everybody. That's fine. Feel what you feel. Spirit is just kind of giving you the advice of, before you go spiraling and before you go catastrophizing, remember that all of this is energy. Everything around you is energy, including you. Okay? I know that the physical realm feels the realest to us, but I feel like you guys have the ability to kind of like come out of that a little bit and see the broader picture spiritually. And if that doesn't sound like you, it is you. You just haven't tapped into that yet. So this is probably just like an invitation to kind of tap into that resource that you have. You have really powerful mind. So use it for imagination, use it for creativity. Don't use it for cynicism and pessimism, okay? Like the first card is energy, and I feel like that's you kind of just transcending all of the anxiety or the stress. Like, it's not that you don't feel it, it's not that it's not there, but it's you realizing that it's not all that's there, right? You've got the patience card, and the patience card says, if you've tried forever to shift a problem, there's probably something to learn from embracing it. May I let this be for now? Help me relax and trust every need will be met. Often change soon follows. So when you start just accepting whatever circumstance you find yourself in right now, doesn't mean that you have to, love it, right? Because we can all find ourselves in really uncomfortable situations and sometimes hurtful ones. But this is just letting you know that the universe has you where you are for a reason. So stop fighting it, because it's for your benefit. And once you do release, once you do try to let go of that need for control or trying to like get yourself somewhere else that you think that you want to be, like let yourself go with the flow and let the universe do what it's doing. You never know what you could be saved from. You never know what you're being directed toward that could be much better than where you thought that you were taking yourself, right? So have some patience, see how this plays out, because I have a feeling that it's going to be, like I said, to your benefit. And the last card you have is belief. So this is a really beautiful card. There's lots of blues and purples and then like sparks of yellow. And I think this is kind of, to me, this looks like a compass. And with it being about belief, I think this is about every kind of belief, like believing in yourself, believing in others, believing in the powers of the universe and that are within you, believing in the good in things, believing that there's always another way. There's always some kind of silver lining to everything, that everything has a purpose. You don't have to go seeking the purpose. It'll be revealed to you in time. So I think that it's just kind of like your belief when you choose to believe in you and you choose to believe in the good in things, kind of sets your sails and really directs you in the right way to go, in the right direction. The card says, the frequency of belief supports our sense of self-worth based on our gifts and talents and a strong connection to source. So I think that means like if you are, you should be, if you are taking the time to be inside, right, and to social distance and self quarantine and all of that, use this time to really delve into your creativity and the things that make you feel closest to source energy or closest to God or whatever it is, like the things that just kind of like take you out of all of the stress or anxiety that you feel. um, Go with that. It's telling you something, right? It's special to you. So put your energy and focus into that and believe that you can do anything because you can. Okay? But that's all I got for you guys, group number 2. I really hope the reading resonated with you. Let me know in the comments if it did. Like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, all of that good stuff. If you'd like to support me, there are numerous ways linked in the description box below. And thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. I truly appreciate it. The magic in me honors the magic in you. Be well. Bye. Hi, group number 3, those of you who chose calcite. All right, be positive, guys, because whatever it is, I feel like some of you have like a question, like you've been asking the universe, like, should I do this? Should I not? I think this is like a green light. I think there's like 2 messages within this opportunity card that you have here. The first one, which is like either take this time of being indoors and all of that kind of thing to as an opportunity to have like all of the time and space you need to work on the things that are important to you. I think some of you have something up your sleeve. You've got like a project or something, or maybe like you're trying to learn something and you just didn't have the time to do it before. This is your opportunity to do so. And then the other opportunity could be like a literal opportunity coming up. Someone could offer you something. There could just be, even though this seems like a time of intense emotion and like chaos and things, there could be some kind of opportunity coming out of it for you, which is really good. That's why I said stay positive, because some of you may be thinking like, oh my God, like I'm watching the world crumble around me, but like you guys are going to be good. You've got, like I said, the opportunity card, and it's like this is you in this bubble, and this bubble is like acting like a shield. And I feel like there's like a lot of alchemy here. Like I think that you guys are the type of people that know how to turn lemons into lemonade, and like you really maybe pride yourself on that, or you just do it unconsciously and don't even realize that it's very easy for you to just kind of like look at what's happening and adapt and like go with it, which is a really really positive strength to have, and it's to your benefit at this time. Okay, you've got also the money card, which is really beautiful. It's really green and it says, all my all my finances are now in divine order. Love itself knows my needs and is the source for all. I needn't cling to gain or fear loss. Every need will be met through offering all to the divine. Yeah, I think some of you guys are kind of like, you're okay with money. Like, I don't presume to know how much money you have or how much money you make. I just know that where you are right now, you are safe when it comes to your finances. And some of you are probably been wondering about that because you want to give. It's okay to give. You don't need, like it says, you don't need to fear gain or loss. So just know that as long as you keep your mind right and you remember who you are and like stay this like really uplifting person, and yeah, just be yourself, because I feel like you guys have like a really good grasp on abundance and like the art and the love of giving and receiving. As long as you guys just stay that way and remain who you are, true to yourself, you're going to be fine. Money is good. So this is a really good sign that even though there's this like kind of like a crazy time, you're going to be good with money. And the last card you have is throat chakra. So like every time I see this card, I always think to tell people, okay, sing. I know that like, you know, it's probably annoying or whatever. You don't want to sing in front of people. You don't have to sing in front of people. Go in the shower and sing. But use your voice, communicate, say what you have to say and say what you mean, okay? Speak with conviction. Use this area. You have something to say, there's something that you need to express, do so. Now is the time. Do not procrastinate anymore, okay? The card says, the frequency of the throat chakra, the blue flower of life, supports our self expression and our sense of peace and balance. When you express yourself, you feel peaceful, you feel balanced. So even if you think that you don't feel those ways right now, this is the advice. It's letting you know that's how you get to that peace and balance, okay? Express yourself. Use this chakra. Listen to throat chakra frequencies. There's tons of them on YouTube. Do throat chakra meditations. Do your ahs and your ohs and your mms, all of that kind of thing, okay? Chanting, breathing. Really open this space up, all right? Because it'll really help you. But that's all I've got for you guys, group number 3. I hope the reading resonated. Let me know in the comments if it did. Like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, all of that good stuff. If you'd like to support me and this channel, there's numerous ways linked in the description below. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. I truly appreciate it. The magic in me honors the magic in you. Be well. Bye. Hi, group number 4, those of you who chose citrine. Okay, so you guys might be like, I feel like you guys are very driven. I feel like you guys are kind of go-getters. And I think that some of you may be worry-warts. So I get that this time can bring up a lot of like fears and anxieties that like I feel like people like you tend to focus on. Like I think a lot of you generally, you know what you're doing with your life, or at least have like a clear vision for what you want, and you're very capable. Like that's the energy I'm feeling. Very capable, strong-minded, and strong-willed, and driven, and ambitious, and that's totally great. Do not let this time of downtime make you nervous or make you lose sight of why you do everything that you do in the first place. Okay? The first card you have is success. So you are successful no matter what. And whatever is going on right now, you will come out successful in the end. Don't worry about it. Okay? This card is like luscious, like beautiful garden, waterfalls, and then this person just kind of like on top, beaming out into the universe and like receiving and like feeling that abundance and that mindset. Stay with that mindset. You guys are going to be okay. Success is always available to you. You have no problem manifesting it, okay? Even if you think that you do, just remember every rejection is protection, and you never know what you're being saved from by the universe, okay? If something didn't work out, it wasn't meant to, but I bet you learned a super valuable lesson from it. So just take each blessing as it comes. And like I said, don't use this time to like get angry that you have to take a break. All right, really take advantage of this break. Okay, because on the other side, you might really be needed and your services might be required. You might be busy. So really take this time to rest and work on your mindset around rest. Work on the things that you've told yourself about productivity, okay? Because the card says it's striving, by the way. Eventually, the individual ego's drive to make things happen falls away, replaced with a relaxed, trusting openness to answers as they arise. Thank you, Divine, for letting me move with the flow. Right, go with the flow. Go with the flow. There's no need to push or pull or like it says strive. Like really just kind of release control at this time, and you'll notice how things just kind of naturally want to come to you. All right. And the last card you have is conception. So I really feel like this is kind of like letting you know, like, remember who you were when you were a child and like the things that you just naturally gravitated towards. Remember like why you do everything that you do, like I said, because there is a reason. And if you're a creative person, like, remember what inspires you, and remember, if you are someone who is like really ambitious and like really likes to go for things, remember why, what drives you. You know what I mean? But the card says, the frequency of conception invites us to bring our consciousness to our origin, the place where everything in creation begins. It helps us to remember the infinite potential and possibilities of this space and what we can manifest through our own focused awareness and intention. Like I said, really take advantage of this time to rest and to kind of like get away from any outside influence and like return to who you really are and your actual intentions and why you really want to do what you want to do. Okay, because it can also like refresh you. I feel like you guys are in need of some rejuvenation, and this is your time to do it. All right. But that's all I have for you guys. Group number 4. I hope the reading resonated with you. Let me know in the comments if it did. Like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, all of that good stuff. And if you'd like to support me and this channel, there are numerous ways to do so linked in the description below. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. I truly appreciate it. The magic in me honors the magic in you. Be well. Bye. Hi, group number 5, those of you who chose labradorite. Okay, so you guys are really special. Right now, you're working from a very intuitive and heart-centered space. I think like a lot of you have like heart, third eye, and crown chakra very wide open. I think, and even your throat, I think like you guys are really tapped into what's going on emotionally and on like a deep heart-centered level within the collective. And I think that you're being called to do things to help, and don't ignore it. You don't have to ignore it. If people think that you're kind of like loopy or that you're doing the most or whatever, like don't listen to them. Like you are needed, and everything that you are called to do is completely beneficial, and we appreciate you. We appreciate people like you. You're very kind, you're very sweet, you're very sensitive and empathic and sympathetic, and like all of that is definitely needed right now. So the first card you have is Angel Whispers. So that lets me know that like if you do feel like you're being, called to do something, if you feel like there are voices in your head letting you know about certain people out on the street and you're just like, I wonder if they need this, or like, if you're like at home and you're social distancing and you're like, well, maybe I should call this person. I think, you know, um, they might need somebody to talk to. You're right. You're communicating directly with your angels, and they're letting you know what needs to be done. Right now, it's like it's your time to shine. All of that kindness and care that you have within you is desperately needed. So you guys are probably going to be called to spread that kind of light and love around. The second card you have is work. So I'm not sure, some of you might be in the medical field or just doing things like going out and possibly, handing out meals or handing out supplies and resources, things like that. And if so, like, wow, thank you so much. But that calls, even if you're not in that kind of line of work, I feel like this is about just like life's work, your path, your life purpose. And this time, even though it's very tense and anxious for so many people, it's like I said before, your time to shine. Like this is what you came here to do, is to kind of help soothe all of that and help give solace to people. But the card says, I'm now available to receive all who can benefit from my work. Use me to relieve suffering on the planet. May all who need me find me. The divine is my complete source for all prosperity and will provide. Right, so it's letting you know you're protected, you're safe. You're going to come out of this, totally fine. Your money's going to be good. You're going to be fine. You're going to be healthy, because you are doing like divine work. You are doing what needs to be done in a way that only you know how. And like I said, even if that's just realizing that, or having an intuitive like flash that somebody needs you to call them or FaceTime them or whatever, even that is what this is talking about. It can be on a really small scale or a grand scale, it doesn't matter. You guys are just, you are kind of like the earth angels right now. And the last card you've got is Gaia. So it's kind of just like the same energy that makes us think of mother and like mother nature, and that like maternal kind of guiding light is like you guys, right? You have that same energy of like mother nature, right? Of earth, of Gaia. So that care is really needed, and you guys are able to give it, right? You are willing and able to give love. And so spirit is basically saying like, go for it, please. But the card says, the frequency of Gaia reminds us that we are infinitely connected to one another, just as we are to our great mother and to the universe that birthed us all. Yeah, you guys already know that we're connected. You know that like there's no us versus them, that it's just like we're all in this together. And that mindset, being that tapped into the universal connection within all of us, is like really beautiful and really powerful. So I think you guys are going to be called on during this time to really release that energy out into the world. And like it's going to be like a salve, like a balm, like a soothing balm over all of us. So thank you in advance. But that's all I've got for you guys, group number 5. I hope the reading resonated with you. Let me know in the comments if it did. Like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, all of that good stuff. And if you'd like to support me and this channel, there are numerous ways to do so, linked in the description box below. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. I truly appreciate it. The magic in me honors the magic in you. Be well.